Hi Scorpio, this is your reading for the week of February 9th, or when you hear it and it resonates, and of course it will not be for every Scorpio. So, when I first started seeing this, I was trying to get a feel for what the image was, because it was you writing. What was interesting about the writing was, it was a very clear page, and you were writing, but they were pointing out to me was that you were writing in cursive. You were writing instead of printed letters that are more sharp. You were actually writing a beautiful cursive hand with lots of loops. And when I asked them about that, it was, what's important is the softness of the loops. That is something that is going to be important for you, or has become important for you, in terms of looking at some of the things that have been problems for you in the past. Now, Scorpio, we know that you've done a lot of work around the past and around things that brought you to a place where you felt disempowered, not necessarily valued, not even safe necessarily. Whatever the reality of it was in terms of your physical survival, there was a response in your nervous system for many of you that made a lot of things that were not necessarily theoretically unsafe feel unsafe. And that can sometimes bring up a certain way of communicating, a defensiveness, which can have a kind of crispness to it. Again, the sharp edges. Now, why is that relevant? What's relevant is this. What they're saying is, you've got two cards that are representing childhood here, and specifically in relation to the cursive writing. You've also got the quantum leap of faith card, which I love whenever that comes in, the energy that you're being asked to embody, because basically what that's saying is you can trust that you are able to do what it is you need to do, that you'll have the support that you need to do that. Now, what they're saying to me, it was a lot all at once, so I'm going to go back to it and see if they can be a little bit more specific for me, or bring it back specifically. So as children, when we feel undervalued, not seen or threatened, frightened in some way, there comes with it an almost preventative defensiveness that can come in. And what that can lead to is a certain quality of over-explaining. More than over-explaining, though, it's not just, that's where the cursive comes in. It's not just about the explaining, it's about the tone and the energy with which the explaining is done. Because if it's coming from a place of compensating, trying to prove worth, trying to prove intelligence, trying to defend before defense is even necessary, it can have a certain, that energy of, it can have a certain energy to it, which can create the exact opposite of what you're wanting, which is to create rapport, to be understood, to be seen, to be respected. So what you're being told is, it's okay now. You can continue to communicate what you wish to communicate. You can use all the words that you want to use. You're being asked to check in and say, all right, where does that defensiveness come from? If you are still in a process of doing that kind of discovery. But if not, what they're saying is, look at your vocal tone and notice how it changes when you are in a different feeling state. When you are feeling calm, when you are feeling loved, when you are feeling seen, your tone can be extremely, extremely gentle. If you are feeling in any way threatened, it can come out quite harsh. And that's where sometimes that just not very nice stereotype of a Scorpio with a stinging tail comes. Well, you know what? Sometimes the reason you got a stinging tail is because you've been stung, and this now becomes part of your defense mechanism. What they're saying now is you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that anymore. You're smart, you're strong. The thing is, you see, it's actually in some ways that goes along with your capacity to think, to want to know detail, to do all of that. That's very much a part of who you are. It's one of the reasons why you're great researchers. You're very good organized. You can be very strategic. Like, you can use your brain to get to layers and layers and layers of truth, of organization, of direction. You're brilliant with that. Now they're saying, okay, that's good. And you can lighten up on it. You can lighten up in a way where you don't have to have that same approach, the same attitude, the same intention, the same tone as you might in a situation where you're doing all of that, where you're managing all of that. Now, as you're stepping more into self-love and more of that softness, what they're saying is check your tone, because it's important not just in terms of how you are being heard by other people. Your tone is also sending energy through your body. So when you can have an attitude of energy that is gentler, softer, safer, feels safer, that energy moves out around you, and that's what creates rapport. Your energy is going to say far more than your words ever will. So please check into what it is you're feeling. When you're feeling like you're being pushed up against a wall, or that you're being cornered in some way. I won't go into the history of the female in terms of answering questions for people, but chances are, if you're female and listening to this, you know. Ask a question, answer it. Well, maybe not. Maybe you don't have to. Not today. What you're also being told here is that you don't have to defend your values and your ideals. You can just state them. That people are far more willing to accept and respect what your values are, what's important for you, what's necessary for you. When you own that for yourself, when you say, yes, this is fine, I don't have to justify my values, my choices, my options. I'm good with them, and I'm good at whether people like them or not. I don't have to put up a wall and defend myself against what they might think about them. Okay? So again, a lot of this goes back to the energy you're experiencing in yourself. The key thing here is you have grown up. You have dealt with what so many of the issues in your childhood were. Many of the things that created problems for you also grew many of your skills. And now you can kind of set that aside and reclaim the territory of you that maybe kind of got left by the wayside as you were managing all of this stuff and fighting for your safety and your survival at a very, very core level. Scorpio, this is beautiful, really. This is really beautiful. It's just saying the work is done now. The work is largely done. Move into what the feeling energy is when you speak, and that's going to make big differences in terms of the kind of rapport you're going to be creating in the world around you, which is going to be, I see it like this. I see it emanating from you out like this, where you can be reaching many, many people. Now, again, many, many people. Is it in the flesh? Is it online? Is it just through what you are adding group consciousness-wise? But trust, my dear Scorpios, that as you move more into honoring your own values, your own self-love, your own gentleness with the way you let yourself feel, you are going to be lighting up the group consciousness with a lot of very beautiful, beautiful energy. I'm going to leave you with that, Scorpio. Take care.